hit the open player. And this aggressive defense is an active defense. On the move defensively, every possession tonight is going to be about rotation, active hands on the ball, away from the ball, and you better be ready to guard one-on-one.
K-State in the whites, West Virginia in the blue. We're underway from Bramlage Coliseum, which has been one of the best home environments in the league this season. Gabby Gregory on the drive loses it out of bounds, and a turnover for K-State on their first possession, as West Virginia will come the other way as we get a look at their starting five. Jordan Harrison has taken over point guard duties from J.J. Quinterly, for the two create one of the best tandems of guards in the country.
They have been two of the most consistent guards in a backcourt in total within the Big 12 so far this season. And she has truly made an impact in this program here early in her career at West Virginia.
Wildcats with their five, with Ayoka Lee, their All-American lead, not at 100%, dealing with some foot injuries, but she gets the lob here for K-State. Quinterly showing that athleticism, coming for the weak side, able to knock it off of Lee.
You've got to get movement, and if there's just a lot of activity by West Virginia, that's where Kansas State then becomes hesitant.
Wide open three for Blackston. She had 20 in the game here in Manhattan a season ago, along with Hemingway, and she starts again hot here in Bramlage.
She was scoreless in their win against Oklahoma on the weekend, played just about 10 minutes, but this is going to be a big matchup here tonight. That's one of the hardest things when you think about preparing to play Kansas State is that they have had possessions and games where they play zone. Couple years really with this women's basketball program at West Virginia. You had the retirement of Mike Perry, and then Don Plitzer-White takes over for one season. But this is a West Virginia squad that they were a little thin early, but they figured out a way to manage minutes and have gotten great productivity for multiple players.
Riley Glenn with the stop. It's Glenn who will check out. Good energy by K-State early. You need it in a game like this against West Virginia. That had been a point of emphasis for the Wildcats coming into today. Quinterly again with a steal of Sundell, her second. And Quinterly all the way to lay it in. Keeping an eye on Quinterly as she comes back the other way, limping a little bit with that knee. Moppin, posting up inside, trying to draw a foul. Good defense by Tavy Diggs, another veteran. Tavy Diggs at TCU, and now here at West Virginia.
Have that touches inside, play through the paint in different ways, and then open up the floor.
Diggs hands off to Quinterly at the free throw line. The jumper, and she hits with Coach Dodd as well. And now another steal out front by Harrison. All the way to the other end of the lay-in. West Virginia has forced 7 K-State turnovers. One-on-one with Harrison. The ball knocked away. Nearly stolen. Shot clock at 1, and Jalen Glenn turns it over instead of taking the shot. 9 turnovers in the first half for Kansas State. Hemingway, who had the huge game here in Manhattan a year ago. Diggs, blocked by Moffett. And a foul on the follow.
The ball went right back into her hands, and the slap by Moppin is going to put Diggs at the free throw line. She was able to do that with 12 points off the bench against Oklahoma. Walker had all of her 10 points in the second half. Between the two of them, they were able to sort of allow Kansas State to stay within striking distance and get themselves just a 2-point win.
Another turnover by Kansas State. West Virginia pouncing on that high post player when they get the ball to throw to Lee. Laxton in the lane. Off the glass, or Watson.
Well, they're 7th in the nation on the course of the season in defensive field goal percentage. Their holding teams is just 35%, and they have been stuck on 4 and continue to be stuck on 4.
Foul was on Danelle Eric Babu, 6'4" native of Germany. Who will get, you would figure, more playing time today in the matchup with Lee. Glenn hits 1 out of 2 to end the 10-0 run, but only 5 points for Kansas State in this first quarter. Kind of run-of-the-mill for West Virginia. They've shut out 2 teams this year in first quarter action. An illegal screen by Eric Babu.
She was pretty darn still. Just a lot of contact made by the defender as well. Harrison had a good look at a 3.
Sides from near midcourt. Would have counted if it went. It does not go, and we're at the end of 1. The Mountaineers.
And then everyone goes to their postseason tournament. So these things will change. But you are right. The goal for Kansas State, maybe West Virginia sitting on the edge of that, is to be in the top 16 to allow yourself to play at home for first and second round games in the NCAA tournament.
Arik Mabu had 2 fouls in the last few seconds of the first quarter, but hits a shot to open the second. She'll stay in there to defend Lee. West Virginia back to a 10-point lead. Sundell splits a double team. Scores and one.
They sent Serena Sundell to the free throw line. We saw them miss a couple easy bunnies and layups, but that was really more sped up trying to break the pressure. They needed that in the half court. She can't get it to go to finish that three-point play.
Free throw shooting has been an issue for the Wildcats. K-State 70%. Lower third of the league. Wide open, Blackston. That's another three-pointer.
And the hardest part now for Kansas State is you've got to make the adjustment because she's matched up with Ayoka Lee. She pulls her out of the middle of the lane and forces her to have to guard on the perimeter.
Riley Glenn, who missed a couple of layups early, does not miss that one. We had layups, just got to hit them.
Yeah, you got to take care of the basketball, and you've got to be able to finish on the other end. Take advantage, whether it's misses on this end or maybe you generate a turnover yourself.
Glenn was going to do it again, but shut off this time by Hemingway. Deep lob. Lee catches, misses, follows her own shot. Lee's got 4. Both ankles have been a little bit injured here the last couple of games. Blackston will drive on Lee and step out of bounds.
That just means they themselves have been way efficient. This Kansas State team has been in the same boat themselves.
Lee on the press break. Harrison got a breather, so Quinterly in there to run the show with Hemingway. The 2 biggest threats offensively. Here's Quinterly. And the 3-ball not falling for West Virginia. Just 2 of 9 on the Mountaineers.
If you're the Mountaineers, when they see Blackston out on the perimeter and it's pulled lead out, that's when you've got to turn the corner and get to the rim.
Jalen Glenn. All the way to the glass, and she'll score. Now the layup's starting to fall for Kansas State. Watson. Not there. Blackston tracks down the rebound. Fields, let's go with 3. That won't go. Fields really in a slump in the last few games and mopping under the board. She
has struggled from behind that three-point line. Has the most threes of anyone on the team in Big 12 play, but just 34%.
Sundell loses the ball on the drive. Turnover, turnover, turnover. Back we go the other way. Quinterly, elbow. Got it.
And ends the bleeding right there for West Virginia in massive need of a bucket, and Quinterly comes up huge, but that's off the miss in the other end and the aggressive defensive stand by the Mountaineers, continuing to force K-State into very tough shots.
Flopping wide open underneath. K-State finally gets the ball to her, and she lays it in. Her first. K-State has found a way by hook or by crook to get a victory, even in the toughest of situations.
Well, it's sort of that old adage, it doesn't matter if you win by 1 or 21, it still counts as a W. And for Kansas State, as you said, finding ways to eke out W's, whether that's been on the road or whether that has been at home. They have had some tough encounters, and the schedule has not been easy, but it's not easy for anybody in this league. It goes back to the very thing we always like to say, you got to win at home, and you got to find a couple on the road.
Wildcats finally get their first three-pointer of the game. Diggs has returned. She's got it in the high post. Watson trying to go with a bounce pass through the lane. Somehow that ends back with West Virginia. Shot clock under 5. Hemingway, let's go with 3. Not there. Back tap. K-State comes away with it.
Bit of a broken play that time for West Virginia, but a bullet dodged by Kansas State because they couldn't get the board, and then the transition goes the other way.
Maupin, 2 offensive rebounds and a bucket, and we are tied somehow, some way in this game.
Both of these teams struggling to find a way to put the ball in the basket. West Virginia now just 2 of their last 10 on this end of the floor.
33% for the game as well. They have really struggled behind the arc, but have not got much inside either. Drive of the miss here. The ball saved by Maupin. No, she stepped out.
But they keep it out of bounds underneath.
Inbounds play. Beautifully run. Missed layup, though, by Watson. K-State a chance the other way. Walker from side. One of the rare times you'll see West Virginia get beat up the court. Walker with the lay-in. Her first points. Harrison trying to create no-look pass underneath, and she finds Diggs. Double team on Lee, 10 on the shot clock. Walker left wide open. She'll take the three. Had a great start to the season from behind the arc, but is cooled off in conference play. And West Virginia a chance to break the tie the other way. Could go 2 for 1 here, but a turnover. Walker with Lee ahead of her, and Walker, a bad decision, turns it over.
Fantastic anticipation by Fields. And here now, this is Jordan Harrison's going to pull it out. Mark Kellogg telling his sophomore they're going to use this shot clock, they're going to use the time, they're going to get a good look here with this score tied at 24.
Low scoring first half, a 19-11 second quarter for Kansas State to get back into the game after they had just 5 points in the first. Shot clock under 3. Harrison just forced to put it up, won't get there.
At the end of the half.
And the Wildcats will not take an opportunity to take the shot. Sundell's was way after the buzzer, so we're at the half. Tied at 24. Kansas State, he seemed to be pretty pleased with the second quarter, wanted to keep that rolling. He felt like they would be fine, so both teams feeling like they're in a good position, even in this low-scoring affair. The Wildcats have the ball first to begin the second half, right inside of their All-American lead, and she gets a layup.
Late on the help side rotation, but I think this first 3 to 4 minutes of this third quarter really is going to help to set the momentum, and it sets the tone for both of these squads. You got to continue to have that attack mentality and make your adjustments.
Quinterly left open on the rotation, buries the three-pointer.
Serena Sundell just got lost, and that's where Kansas State's got to have better communication defensively. They got good execution on the last trip to open the quarter, but then you give up the 3 to Quinterly. They can't have those defensive lapses.
Trying to find Lee. Gregory repositions herself. Lee on the follow is fouled by Blackston.
That is where she's just so good, and it creates just a unique aspect of any team trying to shut her down and defend Ayoka Lee, is that you know that she has got such good hands and she gets great position and she will post you deep. And deep in the lane is where she wants to be able to catch and operate.
This is why the Wildcats are trying their best to get her near 100%, because she is a total game changer. Win shares is a new analytics stat that's been thrown around a lot. Ayoka Lee, second in the nation in win shares. When she's on the court, it is a total game changer on both ends of the floor for Kansas State.
Ultimately the reason why this Kansas State team found themselves all the way at number 2 in the AP poll, but now sitting at number 10 in the nation. They found ways to win games without her, but as you said, they are so much better when she is on the floor.
They're a true Final Four threat with her on the court. Lee fouled as she tried to
keep and tip that basketball, but the Cats have got to take better care of it. You can't just assume that lob will be there on every possession.
Now, Lee's got great hands, but again, playing a little bit injured. Lee inside here able to spin and score, and K-State's given West Virginia a heavy dose of the All-American.
The sophomore has done so much, and they've given her a huge responsibility of handling the basketball for this West Virginia squad.
On the inbounds, Eric Babu. Gregory, not there. A long rebound to Glenn. Not a good pass by Sundell, stolen away. Quinterly knows how to score. Couldn't get the and one, but we'll get to the line.
83% in Big 12 play from the line.
Across the nation, it floors me how little press J.J. Quinterly gets. Unbelievable player. Just talk about how good she is.
As the sophomore, was a unanimous All Big 12 first-team selection a year ago.
Moffett inside, couldn't get the finish. West Virginia holds serve and now comes back with a 1-point lead. Harrison to the basket. Running layup. Got it.
That speed out in transition.
What does K-State do here on the offensive end? Without Lee, it's been a little bit more of a struggle. Sundell sees the C's part, drives to the basket.
One of the few chances Serena Sundell has been able to get to the rim. We saw it a couple times in the first half with misses, but you need the junior to be more assertive here down the stretch. She has been one of the best scorers for this team. She's been averaging about 15 a game over the last 8 contests in Big 12 play.
Fields trying to find the rhythm on offense, gets the long jumper. Jalen Glenn forces into a turnover. Here comes Quinterly. Blocked by Sundell. No whistle. Walker blocked by Watson.
Big-time defensive plays on both ends of the floor for these teams. A lot of contact by guards trying to get to the rim and no whistles. But West Virginia comes out of that now with this possession here. Under 3 minutes to go in the third.
Well, if you like defense, this is the game for you. Three-pointer, Fields, and got her on the track. That two-pointer that we talked about gets her with a three.
You mentioned it, just a confidence builder, and that's sometimes what it takes. You got to see one go down, and Jeff Mittie wants to talk about it because this K-State team, with their lapses defensively, giving up big shots, and West Virginia taking advantage. And we are under almost 2 minutes here to go in this third quarter. It's going to be a possession game. Ultimately, who can take care of the basketball in the half court, but you've got to convert on ones like that. And again, another missed layup, and Kansas State just 8 points here in this third quarter.
Wildcats have countless missed layups on the other end. A missed layup by Quinterly.
Both of these coaches are going to go back and look at these films and look at the possessions and say, you know what, those were the ones. Those are the ones you have to have.
Lee trying to catch over Diggs and a foul.
All different options people have thrown at them. Now, when she hasn't been in the lineup, it has changed how teams have guarded Kansas State.
Free throws continue to be an issue for the Wildcats. Harrison. Good pass to find Watson. Hits the three.
Big shot right there by Watson. Her coaches said she's the glue kid, the one that does a little bit of everything, and that time stepping up for a huge three in the corner.
3 of 7 are the Mountaineers behind the arc in this third quarter after a 2 for 12 first half. Lee reverses underneath the basket and gets open. She's got 15.
That's the unstoppable play right there. She's got to get it every time. If Jeff Mittie has one message for his guards, for every player in that game, when she's in, she's got to touch it on the block.
Now with Diggs in the game, not much of a chance to pull Lee out of the middle. Harrison will take a three-pointer, and the Wildcats get the rebound. Final 30 seconds of the half. Kansas State with not enough time to run it all the way down. They go to Lee instead underneath. The ball knocked away to the ground. Lee wrestling for it, and a jump ball will go to West Virginia.
Great hands by West Virginia on the tie, and they're going to use this clock for the last shot of the possession here in the third.
They've held K-State to just 4 made shots in this quarter. Quinterly behind the back on the dribble, into the lane. Around Lee, misses another layup, and you can see the frustration for Quinterly, who has missed 2 layups here down the stretch in the third.
They take better care of the basketball. They gave away too many opportunities. They've generated some offense with their defense, and you saw that. 18 turnovers by Kansas State. They've got to take better care of the basketball here in this last 10 minutes.
Lee trying to get it, has it knocked away from behind by Harrison. Harrison or Quinterly have been that guard that has rotated on the weak side help each time, both under 5'9".
Yeah, not an easy job at all.
Sir Sundell blocked from behind by Fields, taken away by Quinterly. West Virginia trying to lengthen their lead. They led by as many as 11 of the first half. Quinterly can't get the three, and the rebound to K-State. A 5 for 21 day for a behind the arc for the Mountaineers. It's been better in the second half. Lee this time has it knocked away again for the weak side. Throws it back in. Quinterly does right to Lee. Out to Sundell, who hits the three-pointer, and Serena is down. Sundell came down on the foot of a Mountaineer.
Have J.J. Quinterly at the line, who we said earlier, just about an 83% free throw shooter in conference play. She will shoot the technicals. West Virginia will keep the possession.
Quinterly with 12. West Virginia 5 of 5 at the line. And the free throws have been an issue for K-State. Quinterly misses the second.
Well, we mentioned it earlier, picked 8th in the preseason poll for the Big 12, and now sitting tied for second. A very different space for this West Virginia team, even though they themselves internally may have thought that they would be here.
Terran sides just across before the 10 count. K-State wants to go to Lee. Gregory instead driving hard, gets a whistle.
But she made a living a year ago, becoming an all-conference first-team, all-Big 12 player by doing exactly that. by being able to isolate one-on-one without Serena Sundell available right now. Other players are going to have to step up. You want to put the ball in Gregory's hands.
Oh, for the Wildcats, the injuries mounting and not a good time of year. Sundell down with the ankle. Lee less than 100%. Lee going for a steal here in front of the West Virginia bench, and she gets it. Wildcats already playing with only one backup center due to injuries and illness. And now down to just one point guard with Taryn Sides in the game.
Well, for a team that didn't turn it over in the third quarter, it's still early here in the fourth. West Virginia with already 2 costly turnovers. Those are the ones that can come back to haunt you.
Glenn to Lee. She got it! West Virginia trying to pull off the road win against number 10 K-State, who despite injuries to 2 of their stars, trying to stay in second place in the league. Quinterly a drive to the baseline. Over Mop, and she scores.
Finally got that one to go. Had missed 2 layups at the end of the third quarter, but the ball in the hands in sets. Off ball screens, high ball screens, and on the wing for J.J. Quinterly.
Jalen Glenn left side 3. Got it! Jalen Glenn's taken only 2 shots. Prior to that, a 3-pointer goes in K-State. Who else steps up for West Virginia? Harrison. A quiet night so far for her. Wanted to give it back to Eric Babu. Watson an unguarded 3. She hits!
You saw it earlier, the big one in the corner, that time right in front of us.
Gregory at the high post. To Sides. To tie it. She hit it! Eric Babu wants to take on Lee. Into the lane. Over the left shoulder. Shorted it. K-State a chance to go back in front. You saw the graphic earlier. The ties and the lead changes late between these 2 teams. An exciting game here in Manhattan, Kansas between 2 NCAA tournament-bound teams. Lee underneath, catches and scores as Eric Babu fell down.
And now it's a question of who can gut this thing out under 4 minutes to go.
Quinterly for the lead. Too long. Quinterly 1 of 7 from behind the arc tonight. Jeff Mittie telling Sides the play he wants to run. Sides, deep lob. Lee somehow catches, missed, follow, and run!
Couldn't get it to go on the first one, but they saw it from the start. It was going to be late rotation.
21 for Ayoka Lee and 9 boards. She'll miss the free throw. The ball loose to the ground, picked up by West Virginia. A 4-point lead. K-State 5 of 12 at the free throw line. And the timeout for West Virginia. West Virginia out of the timeout has the ball. Do they go? Who do they go to here? Quinterly's been the one to take shots, but she's been missing here as of late.
And now you've got Lee out. Maupin is in the game. You can attack a little bit more at the rim without the big center in the middle as your defensive stalwart.
Fields, who hit a 3 earlier in the fourth. Now Quinterly, shot clock under 5. Quinterly at the free throw line, guarded jumper. She gets the friendly roll. And then Oklahoma with a game up, but some tough ones down the stretch. So that's what's at stake as we go back to action out of the timeout for Kansas State. Side still at the point with no Serena Sundell. The ball knocked away out high. Harrison with a sliding save. Gets it to Quinterly. A steal with inside. Pickpockets Quinterly. The freshman takes it away off the hip of the junior. Sides, who hit a colossal 3 earlier in the fourth to tie the game, finds Gregory trying to get it to Lee. The ball goes in. Lee lost it. Pressured by Fields. Back-to-back turnovers forced. Here come the Mountaineers with a chance to tie or take the lead. Mark Kellogg a few steps out of the court to give instructions to Quinterly.
They're going to use this clock, give themselves a look at a better shot. Now with Lee back in the lineup, you've got to think more perimeter looks for West Virginia.
Harrison to Quinterly, sets her feet, a 3-pointer, couldn't get it, and Glenn, the rebound, is fouled by Watson.
And then you got to clean it up on the other end, and that was with the big defensive rebound by Glenn, puts the ball back in the hands of Kansas State.
Oh, look who's back, Serena Sundell. Jalen Glenn drives the basket, draws the foul. She'll get to the free throw line.
It has been so dominant with post touches to Lee when she's been in the game, and they've given her some of those rests and minutes out And this game now becomes a two-possession ball game.
To your point, those are just the 13th and 14th free throws attempted this year by Jalen Glenn. Not part of her game this season, something K-State's been asking her to do more. Quinterly fouled out high. That was Glenn. And the third foul on K-State here in the fourth quarter.
Keep in mind they were 12 of 22 from the line against UCF. Had a chance to seal that thing and couldn't get it done.
And it was
Can they do it today?
Yeah, Jalen Glenn had the heroics in that game. Quinterly over Lee. What a floating shot. Just under a minute to go, so K-State can call the timeout in advance. It is average 7,000 bodies in the building for each home game. Again, that's not tickets out. Those are bodies in the building. And this place has been rocking for home games this year for the Wildcats, trying to hold serve and stay unbeaten at home. 14-0 this year. Sundell returning from that ankle injury in the lineup for K-State down the stretch. Lee playing less than 100%, doubled inside. Gregory trying to get it back to Lee. The lob up high. Lee catches, scores! 23 points for Ayoka Lee. Timeout, West Virginia. West Virginia has a ranked opponent in Baylor coming up at home Saturday. Quinterly will take it. She was left open, and she'll bury. 20-point game for Quinterly for the 13th time this season. Do they foul at all? West Virginia. 20 seconds to go. K-State playing keep away. And Bradley Glenn will be fouled with 14.9 left.
Kansas State got it across half court, and you don't get a tip or that you don't get a quick turnover, then you got a foul to extend this thing. Heads up play by Kansas State to keep that ball moving. Give yourself a chance to ice this thing here. Make it a two-possession game. Bradley Glenn at the free throw line.
One more for Glenn. She missed it. The rebound, West Virginia, and they get to advance the ball. Well, Blackston is in the game for West Virginia, a threat behind the line, so you have a little bit more ability to get out on a shooter with Maupin. Blackston will get the ball in the inbound. She lost it. Maupin picks it up. Now, Maupin, not a great free throw shooter,
but just not a great entry pass. A tough one for Blackston to be able to handle. And it sends Maupin to the line, but yet just still 10.8 on the clock, as Maupin will get the second of the two in the double bonus.
No timeouts left for West Virginia, so they cannot take a timeout to advance the ball. Maupin hits the second, makes it a 4-point game, a critical free throw. West Virginia's got to hurry. Glenn knocks away the pass. It finds Quinterly. Guarded three is up. It banks in with 5 seconds left. Oh my goodness, J.J. Quinterly. Defense travels.
You got it.
And if you got a defense that can defend and lock people down, which both these teams have done, you can have a chance. Lee will be the one that catch the ball.
Off a miss and or a make, West Virginia has to go the full court.
As loud as Bramlage was, it comes deathly quiet as Lee misses the first. One more coming up. You would think Quinterly would be the one with the ball in her hands here for West Virginia. Lee made the second, 24 for her. Just a few seconds left. It goes to Harrison instead. Harrison going all the way to the basket, running layup at the buzzer. She hit it! West Virginia piles Harrison. We are going to overtime, and why not?
Even though they missed some free throws down the stretch, found a way to get buckets, get themselves back in it. Big scoring runs, big leads that have been squashed. And now we are at 5 minutes of extra basketball.
J.J. Quinterly wins the battle of the loose ball on the tip. West Virginia the first possession in overtime. Quinterly, step back three underway. Back iron, no, and K-State the rebound. 7 of 28 on the Mountaineers from long distance. Lee underneath, catches, scores!
Catches in traffic. And one of the things Ayoka Lee has advanced in her game from her freshman to her sophomore and to this season is the fact that she can finish in contact.
Has not been able to finish at the free throw line. Nobody has for K-State. Gregory able to pick up the loose ball after Glenn stayed with it. And a break for the Wildcats as they get the offensive rebounds. Whoever the free throw coach is for K-State is going to get a chewing out after this game. 10 of 21 are the Wildcats at the free throw line. This game would have been over at this point. Sundell playing on that bum ankle in the lane. Takes the line drive shot, makes the roll. Trying to steal one on the road. Harrison, who made that game-changing bucket, finds Blackston, and she draws the foul from Lee.
She went for 20 points in this building last season, but there was no Ayoka Lee in the middle for Kansas State.
In her second year with West Virginia. Makes the second, has 7 points. She'll come out, and Eric Babu. Glenn all the way to the basket, drives, scores, and one! No, it's an offensive foul, a push-off on Jalen Glenn.
And it looks as though the West Virginia coaches are talking about either time as to when it happened.
The score is wrong. The scoreboard says 58. It should be 62 to 59.
There we go. As she goes left, that right elbow gets high and makes contact, and the defender is in front.
That's now 4 fouls on Glenn, and she's got 2 on the offensive end. Fields through a screen, hits a three-pointer. Sundell. Glenn, K-State was trying to ISO for Lee, and a foul underneath the basket. Eric Babu working against Ayoka Lee.
She was taught early when she got here at Kansas State to be able to get position, to get deep on the block, to keep the defense at bay. Their depth even more depleted in the post because of that.
And they're going to go ahead and take a timeout. Watson is cleared to come back, and so we will not go to break. Watson got cleaned up in time. Now Lee. She'll make the first. In 24 minutes. Make it 28. Does West Virginia have another answer?
Yeah, this is going to be a huge couple possessions here for Eliza Maupin. You've got to give Ayoka Lee a breather. They're trying to manage her minutes as best they can. Was not anticipating overtime.
Fields steps around a pick, a pie, and couldn't hit the three. Loose ball rebound. Glenn and Quinterly mixing it up, and a tie-up will give the ball to K-State. Or will they call the foul? They're going to get a foul on Quinterly. That's her 4th.
Loose ball foul right here, trying to keep the possession alive. Missed it on the tip. Blackston couldn't corral it. Then it goes to the floor. And on the hook there, that's the whistle against J.J. Quinn. If you're West Virginia's coaches, you can't all be upset about that.
No, just going for the ball.
You absolutely. Now this is where K-State's got to be solid. They kind of get to the free throw line, and they got to step up with some confidence.
Well, we heard Sophie talk about this earlier, about how this is a competitive team, a tough-minded team that has found ways to win even when they're not at their best or without their players. And the Wildcats are trying to do it on a day where they have shot terribly at the free throw line. Quinterly through a double screen. Lobs inside. Lee crashes down, adjusts the shot, gets the rebound, a double-double for Lee.
It doesn't always have to be a block. You said it. You adjust the shot, you make it tough to score.
No timeouts left for Kansas State. 1 left for West Virginia. Both teams in the bonus. K-State's been terrible at the line. Lob to Lee through the double team, and a foul is called on the Mountaineers.
Here in the second and into overtime, it has been a much better job of delivering the pass on target and on time and reading the backside defense.
For 30 and 10, Lee with 2 ankles that have been injured most of the season. Lee 30 and 10 in limited minutes. Diggs in the lane, trying to get an answer. Leans in, missed it. Lee, take it over. Mountaineers need a turnover or a stop.
J.J. Quinterly with 4 fouls, so she cannot be the one to foul the ball handler. Sundell's going to keep it in her hand as long as she can.
She and Harrison, Quinterly and Harrison, both with 4, the star guards for the Mountaineers. Looking for Lee. Gag Gregory down to Lee. She'll score at 32! And the timeout by West Virginia to advance.
So you know that the challenge is going to be out there in conference play.
Wildcats have the best non-conference win in the league as well, with a road win at Iowa. Took down North Carolina at the neutral court. Harrison driving, fouled. No turnover on a travel.
That's what Ayoka Lee will do. She will block shots, she will alter things, and that time completely disrupted Harrison.
Gregory trying to advance the ball, and a foul is going to be called. It's going to be called Quinterly. It's her 5th.
Here's the look, and that whistle, a lot of contact on Gregory, was stealed by Harrison, but that whistle came, the consistency factor, I think that's going to be the question that comes into play, and especially as it fouls out one of the best players on the floor. That was the 5th for J.J. Quinterly.
No. The officials are not looking at that. Right? That's not even in their calculation at all.
But that's what the coaches are talking about.
Absolutely. And Quinterly, too. She realized the gravity of the moment. Gregory hits the second free throw. It's been a 9-0 run here by K-State down the stretch. Fields tries to answer with a 3. She will not. The rebound to Lee. Lee will be fouled.
The gravity and how important this game is that this continues to keep Kansas State in second place within the Big 12 standings, just one game out of first place behind Oklahoma, and so much left to play for. You are giving yourself an opportunity at a Big 12 title, and that is something there Kansas State has not been for many, many years. One of the reasons I think Ayoka Lee made a return and decided to come back after missing 600-plus days was to see, did they have a chance to put themselves in a spot to win a conference title?
Harrison with a layup on the other end. 6 points for her. In addition to that, K-State trying to get that top 4 seed. They were one of the top 4 in the reveal by the committee. The Wildcats hoping to host games here in Bramlage Coliseum where they stay unbeaten, 15-0. Thanks to that young lady, Ayoka Lee. 17 straight won by Kansas State dating back to last year.